Hey guys, in today's video I'll be doing a tropical update because we are back at it again in the Atlantic hurricane season with two new areas of disturbed weather that the National Hurricane Center is monitoring. And this first disturbance, that is now dubbed Invest 94L, now has a 40 to 60% chance of development over the next 2 to 5 days. So chances are looking more and more likely that we'll see potentially Epsilon going into next week. And in fact, it says that um, it says that indi- indicates it says that satellite wind data indicates that the circulation has become somewhat better defined. An additional development of the system is expected, and a subtropical or tropical depression could form during the next few days while the low meanders over the central Atlantic well to the southeast of Bermuda. Now, going into this next week, this system will generally meander in this general area. But then as we get towards the end of next week and towards the weekend, it looks like the low will start to curve back around and potentially hit Bermuda and go out to sea, get pulled out to sea by another rainy coastal system for the northeast of New England, which is today with this current big coastal storm for the northeast of New England, it's been absolutely pouring and just drenching. The storm's just totally drenching the tri-state area and very western southern New England, especially here in coastal southwestern Connecticut. It's been crazy rain all day, it's been nuts. Now, the second disturbance only has a 30% chance of development over the next 5 days because of the fact that it looks like it will really start to develop, it seems, as we get towards the very end of next week and into the following week, which is like the final week of October, the week of Halloween. And it says that some gradual development of this system will be possible through the middle of next week while it moves slowly over the southwestern or western Caribbean Sea. And this system will then end up, it seems, being pulled north out of the Caribbean, across Cuba, and then up the east coast potentially, according to the forecast models at this point. And it's very, very interesting and quite concerning and somewhat cool as well. What, especially the GFS model, I'll say that for sure. What the GFS model is showing currently for this second disturbance. So that is these are the two tropical disturbances that the National Hurricane Center are monitoring right now. Now on tropical tidbits, let's go to Invest 94L, show you the satellite imagery, and you can see big area of spin there for Invest 94L. Definitely has got a lot of spin to it, lots of convection to it, but you can see, of course, the center is very bare right there, no convection or barely any clouds even with it. And it definitely looks way more like a subtropical system than a tropical system, so I wouldn't be surprised if eventually at any point this system gets named. Let's say it does get named, it would be named Epsilon. I would not be surprised if then she just said it was a subtropical storm and that was all that it became and not fully tropical even. So I mean, it could become fully tropical if it does end up getting named, but at this point it looks like it would just be a subtropical system if it were to get named even as well. So that's what the satellite imagery is looking like for 94L. What's interesting, though, I will say this. What's interesting is the model intensity guidance for 94L, because you can see a majority of the models, in fact, as we get down towards the very end of the intensity model guidance at 7 days from now, all of the models end up taking into tropical storm status, but pretty much most models take it into tropical storm status, though, between 24 and 60 hours from now. And then even a few of them take it to hurricane status, getting towards 4 or 5 days out from now. And even one shoots it up into category 2, almost 3 status, which is very interesting. For this system, I really highly doubt that it will get that strong. I think if it were to get named or become any kind of really substantial tropical system, it would likely be only a tropical storm, maybe category 1 hurricane, but likely it would only be generally a tropical storm, I'd say. But yeah, that's what the satellite imagery is looking like for 94L and what the intensity model guidance is showing for that system, and that's very interesting what they're showing for that system. Let's go to the North Atlantic. And alright, so Invest 94L is right over here. And the precipitation for that second disturbance you'll start to see it get better organized, and it'll be down here in the Caribbean. As we move it forward in time, you can see that there's 94L there, really trying to get its act together. And there's that Caribbean system starting to get its act together. We're getting towards now next Thursday by October 22nd. And you can see 94L actually really starts to wrap itself up and could become, it looks like tropical storm hurricane, but generally you can see it gets pulled out to sea away from any kind of land, really, especially the U.S., by that big front with that big storm. But then you can see there's that Caribbean system that the models have been pretty consistent all this week of showing, and now even the European model seems to also start to agree and show and agree with the GFS and show this system as well. And in fact, let's zoom in. I really want to zoom in onto this Caribbean system. Not that there's like any likelihood that this Caribbean system will happen. It's way more likely that Invest 94L will become a tropical system, but for the hell of it, I want to show you what the GFS model is showing for the Caribbean system. So we move this forward in time, and there you can see it's a big, large tropical system coming north out of the Caribbean, across Cuba, and up along the east coast. And then you can see there's this big cold front bringing in extremely below average temperatures into the central United States and bringing the colder temperatures even farther to the east even. You can see as we get towards the 26th, 27th, that big, large tropical system combines with all that precipitation from the cold front and becomes extremely potent and very powerful, bringing very heavy rain, strong winds, and likely a lot of coastal flooding to New England. If this were to occur, it would definitely bring all of that to New England and become a beast. And you can see there's all that cold air coming in behind it too, especially actually even it's just like hell of it going to the end of the run. You can see there's this other this other coastal system the GFS is showing towards the end of the run. Where, I mean, we're totally disregarding this at this point, but I just want to show you this because after potentially if this system does happen, if this system does happen, it leaves, and then this even more potent and large amount of cold air will blast in towards the north central and northeastern and U.S. and including the Great Lakes and New England. So that's very interesting. There's potential for very, very cold days ahead of us, getting in towards the very end of October and into November. So if that likelihood ends up becoming even greater, I will definitely make more videos on that, show you guys that. So yeah, so that's what the GFS is showing. Very interesting, very, very interesting for sure. And now I'll show you what the CMC model is showing for these two systems. Alright, here's the CMC model. Bring it forward in time. There goes that coastal storm that's really impacting the northeast New England right now, bringing all this heavy rain. It's just crazy, honestly. And you can't really see it, honestly, on this model. Well, actually, kind of barely there. You can see there's 94L getting towards October 22nd, as I was saying. And it gets pulled out to sea by that front, and then there's the Caribbean system. The CMC model, interesting, not really showing much of any kind of big system, or that tropical system at least showing it going out to sea and not really showing any kind of large coastal system for the East Coast, and especially the Northeast New England. So that's very interesting. We'll have to see what happens with the CMC model. The CMC model, though, again, I'll say, it has not been a good model at all to just like trust or in any way, or really look at for any kind of interesting information for any kind of hurricane season stuff. So really just generally disregard that. But here's the European model, and we bring this forward in time. You can see that the European model, you can see on the side of your screen right there, you can see there's 94L it's showing, potentially some decent vorticity to that system. And then moving towards the 26th, 27th, shows more of that large coastal system happening starting in the Gulf and crossing Florida and then up the East Coast and slamming New England as we get towards the 26th and 27th, which is very interesting. Definitely a bigger difference between where the European and GFS are showing the system starting out. One showing it in the Caribbean starting out, and one showing it in the Northern Gulf, and then doing that kind of classic nor'easter track, coastal nor'easter track, crossing Florida and up the East Coast and then impacting the Northeast and New England. So we're really gonna have to watch. We're gonna really have to watch both these disturbances very closely that the NHC is monitoring, and then especially that Caribbean system. If that Caribbean system especially starts to really look really likely to happen and occur, and potentially to the degree that especially the GFS model is showing. So if that does end up being the case going into next week, especially the end of next week and into the next weekend, all my videos definitely will be on that system, and that's going to be the main system we'll really be tracking. And so very, very interesting. It looks like you round out this video, I'll say it looks like there is some decent potential to at least get Epsilon, the next name on the Greek alphabet list for the hurricane season, out of these two systems, and maybe even Zeta if the Caribbean system does end up occurring. And then potentially even that Caribbean system, which would, if it does get named, would be Zeta, becoming a very large, explosive tropical system and becoming a very potent, strong coastal storm for the Northeast New England even. So we'll really have to track that, especially as we get into next week. But the potential is definitely there to see at least the next two names on the Greek alphabet list for the hurricane season. So going to next week, we could be seeing Epsilon and then even maybe Zeta being named. So this hurricane season truly is ending up being a very, very active, crazy, record-breaking hurricane season, something I did not think I would ever really experience so soon after the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. Crazy, crazy times, and even the potential of a massive potential for the very slight potential as of right now for a massive coastal storm right before Halloween, which really brings me back to Superstorm Sandy of 2012 and even Snowtober the year before that, and right before Halloween in 2011. So very, very interesting pattern we're in right now for the Northeast New England for coastal storms. So I'll keep you guys posted for that, especially, and even keep you guys posted to see if we get Epsilon or even Zeta happening going into next week. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found it enjoyable, entertaining, informative. If you did, please consider liking the video. And if you're a first-time viewer watching this video, watching my channel, especially just this video on my channel, and you like what you saw in this video, please consider subscribing, because I do tons of this kind of related content on my channel. I will do a lot more of this content moving forward, especially as we get into winter and seeing the more potential for bigger coastal storms, and even those coastal storms producing lots of snow for the Northeast New England. I'll be doing tons of videos on that kind of stuff, so please consider subscribing to my channel to get updates on that, especially that certain amounts of weather, if you like that part of weather. So please consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.